Mr. Speaker, we need to address certain things. The Nigerian youth, the social media, the social influencers, all of these are making the narrative that we are seeing today, except we are joking with ourselves. Social media, yes, though good, has its negative impact. Let me first thank you for condemning the wanton killings and carnage that happened at Lekki. When I went through the comments, I could not believe it, Mr. Speaker. The curses, the abuses from children. And I ask myself, is this Nigeria? What is going on? Children cursing, people having the effrontery to enter an Oba's palace, hold the staff of office. Culture is gone. Mr. Speaker, in the next 5 years, there will be no Nigeria if we don't start now. The youth is not only those who do the peaceful protest. Those who have looted, who have destroyed lives, they are youths as well. Mr. Speaker, pregnant women went into malls, picked things and went away. When shall we change this narrative? I put it to all the celebrities out there, all the motivational speakers. This is the only country we have. The wealthy will go. When anything happens, what is our common saying? We die here. Please, celebrities, please, social media influencers, stop the hatred already. You have a means constitutionally to change government. It's called your P.
Destroy the ones from the north, south, east, and west, so that the whole thing can go in that slump. And I meant that if we continue in this manner, other people, that's indirectly, other people will hijack it from us. In other words, the mobs will hijack it. So let's now preach the message of our PVCs and make sure. So when I didn't expatiate, but what I meant was that celebrities and social influencers, social media influencers should charge their followers to show their PVCs, get ready, let's move together. So pretty much that was what I meant. I never for a second insinuated that it should be regulated or anything. No, at all. I mean, I'm sorry. Also, they felt pretty bad. I called them children. So what I meant was, when I went through some of the posts, I would go to the people who actually sent it and the comments, and I just found out that some of them were youngsters, and I'm like, and they were cussing. So I'm like, okay, this is not the Nigeria that we are hoping to have. We want to have the change, and they're not calling for the change of the government.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why the video coming from you, who is also a young youth, because Desmond, the last time I checked, you're actually 44. That means you're still part of the youth. But, you know, we still have to talk about what you had said, and even your explanation right now concerning what you're saying, the right to protest. You're saying that the Nigerian youth should not protest, but wait until after 4 years before they make their opinions heard? Is that what you're saying, Desmond?
No,
let's clarify that quickly before we move along.
You have the right constitutionally, you have the right to protest. No, I never insinuated that. What I was saying was that I was encouraging, or rather, because I was very emotional, and I was quite upset. You know, I was saying all those who can influence this change, whilst we are doing this, we should also be sending another narrative, which is we can win this by way of our election. We can get a seat at the table. We can now have our budget and they look at we can influence the youth, because the mobsters, didn't understand that it was a peaceful protest. If we now emphasize and put so much on vocational education and put so much in educating them, put so much in understanding who we are as a people, I think it will help. So that was what I meant. That was what I meant, and I totally apologize if it came out the other way, the wrong way. And yes, as a youth, I totally stand for the rights of the youth. I totally stand for what the youth stands for.
Now I'm really excited that you came on this interview because there's a lot of clarifications that you have made so far. But still talking about clarifications, there was something you said about, the government at the center and the fact that the states don't have as much power as they're supposed to do. Are you calling for restructuring, Desmond, as we get ready to wrap up this conversation?
Thank you very much. Now, this is part of what the narrative I was talking about. I was hoping that whilst we were talking about the incidents that happened, those that influence social media space should also be talking about, okay, wait a minute. We should encourage the regions to grow. We should start having true federalism. And yes, which is one of the reasons I came into government, because I believe strongly in true federalism. Because I feel there's so much concentration of power at the center. And with that happening, we ask, who ordered the army? Who ordered the police? Who ordered this? I believe we should start having state police. We should start having, equipping the regions. Let every region begin to grow and grow the way they want to and decide how they want to grow. And then the center will just be making sure that things are going well. That was what I was hoping, when I pushed all that out. But right. I totally once again apologize for.
Well, Desmond, I don't know, but there's something off about your audio. We're really struggling. I don't know if there's a fan around you there, but it's really interfering with, we getting clarity from all that you're saying. But as we wrap up this conversation, Desmond, the panel of inquiry that has been set up by the Lagos State government, let's talk about how much support the Lagos State House of Assembly will be giving to not just the government now, but also the victims of police brutality to ensure that justice is served. Wrap up in about 30 seconds or less, if you can.
Okay, real quickly, I'm not here to speak on behalf of the Assembly. I just came to clarify what's going on. But today we had the stakeholders meeting. The one I had in Surulere, it happened in all state constituencies in Lagos State, organized by the State House of Assembly. Issues of police brutality came up. We agreed that everybody, even if someone was shot by way of stray bullets, put down your name, and I promised that we were going to work it through and make sure it got to the judicial panel that was holding it. So the Assembly is totally, unequivocally in support of the youth protest.
In support of the protest and not in support of regulating social media. Desmond Elliott, thank you for joining me tonight. And for the latest in the world of business, let's now cross live to Lagos, where Bose Omofaye is